Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my course on making the absolute best chocolate milkshake. Now, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight at the moment. I'm coming to the end of that sort of bulking stage, and I don't know how many more of these I'll be having, so I thought, I'd do a couple of videos of my favourite sort of cheat day recipes so that the legend would live on, in the heart of the people. So today we've got a chocolate protein banana milkshake, and so let's start with the ingredients. First ingredients I'm going to put in there is a protein powder. I've chosen Sun Warrior protein powder, which is a rice protein, and it is incredibly smooth, really good for a rice protein. I choose it because most of the week I'm dairy free. I don't react so well to dairy, which is kind of ironic for someone doing a video on making milkshakes, but leave that aside. And it's just great texture. I prefer it to other, like a pea protein and soy proteins. I don't really like so much. Soy, you get a bit worried about genetic modification, and also it can have an effect on, it's estrogenic, can produce estrogen. So we'll start by putting that in, like so. So the next ingredients that I have here today, I've got a bit of soy lecithin. There I was talking about soy. So yeah, you want to make sure that it's from a non-genetically modified source. The good thing about soy lecithin, it's probably not an essential ingredient in the smoothie, but it helps sort of to emulsify fat-soluble and lipid-soluble items, so it becomes a sort of more smooth, textured drink, and it's easier to digest as well. So just put a bit of soy in. So next on the list is chocolate. So we've got a raw cacao powder. Raw cacao is one of the most nutritionally dense products you can find, and it's also quite satiating. Makes you feel full. That's why it's in so many different diet milkshakes and things like that. It has a lot of good benefits, a lot of things that are missing from the average diet, such as chromium, manganese, magnesium, and I think vitamin C has high levels of that. A lot of those are destroyed when it's heated, and so it's a lot better to get the raw cacao powder from a good source. All about the quality ingredients. If you're willing to have some bad food in your diet, you should make it at least have good quality ingredients, I say. And I agree with myself, so you should agree with me too. So then we go on to the sweetener. I like to use banana for my sweetener. What I do is I cut up a couple of bananas and I put them in the freezer so they're in little slices. You don't need too much sweeteners, and bananas also add to sort of the thick, creamy texture. 2, maybe 3 little slices of banana are all that's necessary. When I'm not using banana as a sweetener, or I don't like the taste of banana, Milo sort of does the trick. It's got a reasonably low glycemic index. It's probably not the best thing you could be having, but it's also got that really nice crunchy Milo texture. And what I like to do is put that in at the end of the drink. And so once I've blended it all up, then I add in the Milo, so it's still got that crunchiness. So then we go on to a bit of salt. Now with the salt, you probably don't need too much. It depends on how much salt you have in your peanut butter, but it always adds a bit of flavour. I'm a big fan of salted caramel kind of taste. Anything salted, so naturally it had to go in my drink. So I'll move on to the peanut butter. Now this could also be made with an almond butter, cashew or Brazil nut butter. I have chosen this organic, macro-organic peanut butter, which just tastes absolutely delicious. 100% peanuts. I don't like normal peanut butter because you look on the recipe, the ingredients list, and it's generally full of a whole lot of canola and not much peanuts. And I'm not a big fan of canola oil, or as it's also known, rapeseed. So I mean, that already gives you a clue that you don't want that seed in your body doing its actions, whatever they may be. And canola oil, I mean, it stands for Canadian oil, and it's kind of a made-up oil that I don't even think it's allowed to be fed to pigs in some areas because of the effects on digestion. Obviously, in terms of hygiene, if you're going to use your hands, make sure that you clean your hands first. It's disgusting putting your hands in and your fingers, licking your fingers. Disgusting. I never do it, so don't do it. So yeah, that's peanut butter. Now you'll notice that I'm kind of eyeballing everything. I'm a pro, right? And I don't want to give away too many of my secrets. Mainly I've forgotten actually the ratios because I'm that professional. So I eyeball it. Eyeball is kind of like a chef's term for eyeballer. You know, I'm a baller. I'm such a baller that I just sort of eyeball things. Cinnamon. So cinnamon is good for a couple of reasons. Again, it sort of adds to the sweetness of the drink, adds a cinnamon taste, surprisingly, and it helps regulate blood sugar levels. If you're choosing cinnamon, it's best to choose the cinnamon that looks like a scroll, as opposed to a cinnamon that looks like it's a rolled up newspaper. So it's sort of in two pieces, and all the scientific research studies that are done on the benefits of cinnamon usually use the one that looks like a scroll, you know, the sticks of cinnamon, although that's a bit hard to find, and so unfortunately I'm not using that one. That's what I want to use. So then we go on to, we'll put in the yogurt. What I like to use often is a kefir. I ferment my milk and turn it into a kefir, which is an incredibly healthy Turkish drink. And it's full of probiotics and enzymes, and it's really good for digestion. It's a lot better for people who tolerate dairy well. Otherwise, I also make a lot of fermented coconut juice kefir, which is more of an acquired taste. I love it, but not many other people do. And so yeah, go for a creamy, thick the yogurt. Generous on the serving, gives it a nice sort of sour taste as well. Unsweetened is best, because sometimes with that sour taste you find that a lot of yogurt brands that have like ridiculous amounts of sugar. If you weren't here, I'd probably lick the spoon, but it's disgusting anyway, so I won't do it. So I put in the chocolate, didn't I? I could always put in more chocolate. But I'll put in the milk, which is a very important ingredient. So here I have unhomogenized organic milk. I would prefer it if it was from Jersey cows. So Jersey cows are more, they produce an A2, I think it's casein protein, and A2 milk is a lot easier to digest, and A1 is, I think breast milk is probably A2 milk, and goat's milk, for example, is A2 milk as well. So it's a lot easier for humans to digest, and a lot of people who have trouble with milk actually have trouble with the A1 protein and are okay with the A2. I prefer it to be unhomogenized, because when milk's homogenized, it basically means that the fat globules in the milk have been cut up, made into such small pieces that they're unrecognizable by the gastrointestinal system. And essentially the body doesn't quite know how to process them, and it can lead to inflammatory processes in the body. And so this is a lot better. It has to be shaken a bit, because the whole idea of homogenization is so that you don't have to shake milk. There's probably something else behind it as well. Probably just to piss off hippies like me. I also like, wow, that had a lot of cream in it, which is good. Which is good. I also like raw milk, although raw milk's quite hard to come by. And if you want raw milk, you definitely want organic milk. For me, milk's incredibly nutritious. Lots of beneficial products in it, such as lactoferrin, which has anti-cancer properties. But the thing about milk is that it's kind of at either end of the spectrum. It can either, if you know, a pure, raw, organic A2 Jersey milk is just the best thing on the planet, whereas like some shitty, homogenized, pasteurized piece of crap like Friesian cow milk is really going to do no good benefits for health. That was a really well constructed sentence. So I really like these magic bullets. They just make my life so much easier and easier to clean up. So let's go for it. Easy, pretty much done. I pushed this down and we've got a milkshake, so hope you're ready for it. Well, actually, I push it down and I wait a while and then we've got a milkshake, so I hope you're ready for that. So now comes the taste test. Far out. That is absolutely delicious. Delicious. I don't even want to ruin it by putting any more ingredients, but I will. I put in some raw cacao nibs. Again, cacao is incredibly nutritious, but as it's got a bit of a bitter taste, you don't want to put too much of this because you might end up with a whole lot of nibs at the bottom. You want it. I use it to get a bit of crunchy flavour because it's quite crunchy, and so I just put it in at the end, only just say a teaspoon, and the whole idea is just to get a bit of a crunch. And it's again on personal preferences, and so if you don't want it in there, don't put it in there. I'm not going to sue you. I might just put a bit more milk, just because I'm greedy and I want a bit more milkshake. So if I put some more milk, I'll get more milkshake. So it's a trade trick. So it's between me and you. Ridiculous. I don't know how I do it, and hopefully you'll be able to do it now too. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. Give me some feedback. Tell me what you think of the world's best chocolate, peanut butter, banana milkshake, protein for milkshake. Let me know. Thanks a lot for listening.